Caroline, great to see you, and thank you so much for your time.
It's my pleasure, Rochelle.
Excellent. So what I wanted to talk to you about today is thinking about small businesses and how they get their media stories into the media, and also, are they newsworthy?
Yeah, look, absolutely a very, very important topic, because so many times when we launch a new business or we're a small organisation, we wonder about our marketing and what we can be doing to help promote our business. And oftentimes we actually overlook the opportunity to be able to tell our stories via our local news organisations. We feel like we've got to be spending a lot of money on advertising, and in particular in that digital space, and it's not necessarily the way. I certainly believe from a marketing point of view it's about a multi-touch program, and being able to generate free PR is one of those.
Fantastic. So tell me about a journalist's day. What is it like for a journalist throughout the day?
Yeah, look, it depends on every news organisation, but certainly in regional centres, now we have digital is very much part of our daily lives. There's a lot more competition for news organisations, so we seem to be doing a lot more with less. Certainly with our news organisations, we actually put out 7 news bulletins a day. So it's an extremely busy operation that we run Monday to Friday, and a very well-oiled machine. So what that actually means is that our journalists are extremely busy. So when we have businesses or organisations approaching our newsroom for a story, it really helps our journalists if you actually know what you're phoning about and you're direct and to the point. The best way to do that, of course, is through a media release.
Wonderful. So tell me about the media release. What do they need in a media release?
So a media release is very much a foot in the door. But, I really need to impress upon anyone listening to that it doesn't need to be overwhelming in terms of how to write a media release. You certainly don't need to be having to employ anyone in a PR capacity to do it. It's something that everyone can do. You don't have to be a degree qualified journalist to be able to write. You just need to keep your sentences short, succinct, to the point. Think about it as an inverted pyramid. So start with the most important points first and work down to the least important points, such that if a journalist doesn't get to the end of your media release, they still have the gist of what the general story is.
Great advice.
So 5 key points I'll mention. 1, keep it to 1 page. Secondly, the headline is absolutely everything.
Excellent.
If you don't have a compelling headline, then no one's going to pick up on your story. So compelling headline. Third thing, always date the media release so that journalists know that it is today's news. It's not yesterday, and it's not something that may have been sitting around for a long time in a newsroom. So always date it. 4th point would be to always have your contact details on the bottom of the media release, and to make sure that you have a phone number, you have an email address, you have a mobile phone number, and that you really do respond. If it's a phone number that you don't really use, or if it's an email address that you only check once a week, it's not good enough. You need to be able to onto
it the whole time.
You need to be able to answer the phone or answer an email in a responsive way. And the last thing I would say in terms of the media release is to also be thinking about what can accompany the media release pictorially. Because a picture tells 1,000 words, especially in television. So,
and everybody's got their iPhone or their smartphone. So taking a picture or a brief video, it's quite easy to do, isn't it?
Absolutely, but just don't jam the journos' inboxes.
Good point.
If you're taking a photo, make sure that you send it through in low resolution. And the same with the video. Maybe it's better even with the video to embed it as a link within the body of an email.
So put it to YouTube or something and send a link.
That's it. But
that's a good idea.
That helps to tell the story. The other thing I would also be suggesting is to think about the proximity of where your story is taking place to the news organisation. So if it's a story about your business, but your business isn't actually an hour or an hour and a half away from that news organisation, already you've got a geographical barrier to telling that story.
That's a good point.
So think about what you can do to bring your story to the news organisation. It might even be
so they'll do that, so you can just go closer to the newsroom?
Look, I mean, it may even be in the car park of the news organisation. But you always have to be thinking about pitching your story in context of what's best for the journo, what's going to be easiest, knowing that they've got a busy day, and sometimes they've got 2, 3, 4 stories that they do in one door.
That's excellent. So what I'm taking from this conversation is that that our clients here, our students, need to change their mindset and really put themselves in a journalist's shoes and think about how you can make it as easy as possible for them.
Yes.
And also build relationships. Let's touch on how you can build a relationship with a journalist.
Look, it's so critical because, Rochelle, at the end of the day, it shouldn't be a one-way street.
Yes.
So in the same way that we don't want anyone to be selling to us, because at the end of the day, the editor always wants the editorial independence. We don't want to be seen to be commercial. We have no interest in that.
Yes.
At the same time, we want to be able to build relationships with local businesses such that if we've got
Myth debunked.
Yes.
You can build a relationship with a journalist. I love it. Yeah.
And and we want to be able to honour those relationships in the best interest of the community. So at the end of the day, it serves you because all of a sudden you're a credible source,
Yes.
whether it's to do with health or fitness or employment or whatever it may be. You are the go-to person for the
Yes.
news organisation, and you are there when we need a spokesperson.
Yeah, great.
And it's not just when you have your story to tell within your own time frame. So if we can have that relationship where we can call on you when it works for us and you can
Yes.
call on us, then it really works for both parties. Keeping in mind that we'll only ever run a story if it is in that public's best interest to know. So
Love it.
yeah.
Love it. So make sure that they're knowledgeable or could be an expert on a topic like
Yeah,
that, and
yeah.
that they're available as well.
Yeah, and so, another way around this is also not just about writing media release and contacting a news organisation, but keep abreast of the news of the day yourself.
Yes.
So that if you're scanning a newspaper and you see a particular conversation around a certain subject matter that you've got a lot of experience and expertise in through your business, why not make an approach to the news organisation and say, hey, look, with regards to today's story, if
Yes.
you're wanting a local spokesperson on that matter, then I'd be more than happy to come to the station and have a quick chat.
That is excellent advice. That's really good.
It's
That's
about
good.
building credibility.
It is,
Yeah.
it is
Yeah.
building credibility. I love
Yes,
it.
yes.
Well, look, thank you so much for your time today. It was great to
Absolutely
catch
my
up.
pleasure. You bet, Rochelle. Absolutely.
All
Great
right.
to see you again.
Okay, mate. Take care.
Okay.